Long before he began racing around the country as a nationally recognized financial leader and best-selling author, Stephen Bolt was running around the tracks in the state of Alabama. Born in Indiana, Steve's father Tom worked on defense contracts, and that took him to Orlando and Norway before settling in Huntsville back in 1970. Steve had already won some races as a junior high star, winning a road race in Orlando and then setting a record with his 4:48 mile. Once at Grissom High School in Huntsville, the records became even more noticeable, and track coaches from across the land tried to lure the high school All-American their way. The University of Alabama had committed to being top-notch in every sport, and athletic director Paul Bryant hired Kansas track star John Mitchell to build the Crimson Tide into a winner. There was no doubt the major piece to that puzzle was signing Stephen Bolt, whose 4:07 mile in his senior year of 1973 was the nation's best. It's still the fastest time ever recorded by an Alabama high school athlete. As a freshman, he helped the Crimson Tide win the SEC Cross Country Championship. It was only the beginning for the former Grissom star. He would go on to win 10 SEC individual championships in cross country, indoor, and outdoor distance events. On 3 different occasions, he earned All-American honors, making him the most decorated track athlete in university history. His most remarkable accomplishment, though, came back in 1976 at the SEC Indoor Championships held at LSU. The other league coaches voted to have qualifying heats in the mile run, making Stephen run an additional race. On that Friday, he was already slated to run the 2-mile and the final leg in the 2-mile relay. He did, winning the individual race and crossing the tape for the first in relay. He had no trouble qualifying for the Saturday morning final in the mile either, but he could hardly stand up that morning because of all the distance he had run the night before. Despite the aches and fatigue of having to run an additional mile on Friday, Steve Bolt bolted across the backstretch to run the first ever sub-4-minute mile in SEC history. It is still regarded as one of the most remarkable achievements in Alabama track history. After graduating, Stephen continued to compete in even greater distances, setting 5 marathon records. He is one of only 11 people in history to run the sub-4-minute mile and a marathon in less than 2 hours and 15 minutes. His victories as an athlete parallel his success as a businessman. He has focused on values-based investing for the Christian community. He has written 4 books, including Money on Loan from God. He has been a featured guest on CNN, Bloomberg TV, and hundreds of radio shows across the nation. Today, he and his wife Libby live outside of Nashville in Franklin with their 3 daughters and 1 son. Tonight, Stephen Bolt's run to the top in the sports world ends in Birmingham with his enshrinement in the state of Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.